and gentlemen, welcome to the 2019 season of the Blackout, Don't Lockout Fantasy Football League. We had an incredible 2018 season, ending in great sadness as yours truly was not the winner. However, I'm ready to strike back in 2019. Are you guys ready? We're only a couple days away from kickoff, and I couldn't be much more excited. Well, ladies and gents, it has certainly been an interesting offseason. After the Le'Veon Bell debacle last year, we now have two top-tier running backs holding out. But, as of this morning, we have learned that Zeke is primed to return. Not only is he going to be the highest paid running back in NFL history, but he is ready to jump back on the field this Sunday. He must not have waited in line for 45 minutes to wait for that delicious Popeye sandwich, or he must have sucked a lot of dick in Mexico. Next, we have Melvin Gordon. You remember him, the top rookie prospect that didn't score a fucking touchdown his whole first season. Yeah, he's holding out too. I guess he's bounced back, but I can't condone giving up a $330,000 check every fucking game because his future 2 years from now isn't certain. I am fucking sick of this, and for once it seems Philip Rivers and I have something we can agree on. We have also seen some interesting moves from players we once loved. Loved is a strong word for players like Jordan Matthews, Thomas Rawls, and Terrell Pryor. But of course the move to discharge LaShawn McCoy was a big one. He has now been picked up by former head coach Andy Reid, who could be the one person left with enough magic to return some light into Shady's career. Honestly, I don't think Harry Potter has enough magic to make LaShawn McCoy relevant again. At his ancient age of 31, his candle has been dying out for the past few years. And speaking of ancient age, apparently 25 is the new 80. There's been a lot of rumors this year about the Studley Todd Gurley and his arthritic knees. That sounds great for a football player. But he's suited up and he's ready to go. We'll just have to wait and see how much pain he's really in. Another person that is hopefully in some pain is this fucking idiot who drafted all of these players on the same team. Yes, for real. Skittles drafted all four of these players. How are you feeling right now? Hot? Because you're driving straight for the fucking sun. Fuck you, Skittles. And while all this is very exciting, we of course need to bring up the biggest news of the offseason. I couldn't believe it at first either, but when I saw it, I was absolutely in shock. Yes, believe it. Rob Gronkowski is finally happy again. I'm just so glad he finally found his place in the world. Good for you, Rob. What? What's that noise? What's going on? Hello? Who are... Hello? It's me. Andrew Luck? Is that you? Yeah. What are you doing? Why the fuck did you retire? I mean, you're so young and you have so much to live for. Me no healthy. Me have boo-boo. Peyton Manning's neck was fucking broken and he came back. Bill Belichick liked Peyton Manning. That's why you're retiring? Because Bill Belichick doesn't pay attention to your team and didn't give a shit you retired? Kinda. Well, that's kind of pathetic. What are you gonna do now? Have baby. Really? That's it? That sounds terrible. Well, good luck. Luck. That's my name. No, fuck, whatever. Go back to making babies. I'm done with you. Now we look forward to the new season. After the first official vote of our league, we have now removed divisions in order for Trevor not to complain. So that there won't be any third place finishers in the regular season with a better record than the second seed, which we have seen twice in the past 2 years. Last year, our champion, the Sandusky Small Cocksuckers, were able to beat out the two teams with the best records and take home the trophy. And based on that name, you guessed it. He went from last place wearing a dress to first place and current champion of the league. Will that same fate transpire for Nick's sister? Let's hope not. Let's give a big shout out to I Suck Dick in That Dress, who came off a horrible season and had to wear a dress after losing 7 out of his last 8 games. But, despite his shittiness, he has gotten off the easiest with his quote-unquote punishment. His waitressing skills were seen by few, and his peaceful attitude for being shamed was as entertaining as watching the Titans versus the Dolphins before fantasy football. This league needs a new punishment. While we bring it up every year, no one actually nominates a great idea. Your job this year is to worry more about the punishment than fantasy football. especially you, Justin. Then you can be the first person to experience your great idea. Sadly, great ideas never come from Justin, so this is all just hypothetical. But really, what should our new punishment be? Should we create a calendar with our loser as the model? Or how about we create our own Sacco Bowl? That looks like a great sack right there. Or how about we just say, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go for the tattoo. The choice is yours. After drafting, there's a lot of rosterbation. While some of it is certainly understandable, there is way too many championship hopes for some of these terrible teams. Worst of them all is the team with the highest projection in week 1. This is what Wreak Havoc will feel like by the end of the season. He barely made playoffs last year, despite talking out of his ass for most of the preseason. And what about this guy? We all know he knows nothing about football and a lot about dick. Look at this goofy clown. Do you think anyone pays attention to his clown pictures that are completely irrelevant? Last year was one of my favorite moments in league history when the pathetic Snouts defeated the Clown Stars to kick him out of the playoffs. But that is about the only great thing about the Snouts. Joey May has some of the most overconfidence I have ever seen in fantasy football, and he has proven that as one of the dress contenders in each of the past 2 seasons. Another big shit talker we have in our league is this little studette. Her overconfidence usually comes in the form of some fantasy football podcast or looking over Trevor's shoulder for the latest Twitter announcement. But it was music to my ears to hear some silence last year as her pathetic season ended right where it was supposed to. One of the best shit talkers in our league is this excuse for a man. We usually don't know what he's trying to say. All we hear is squeak, squeak, squeak. I like touching dick. Squeak, squeak. I'm honestly surprised he remembers to set his lineup. And setting his lineup is going to be tough for this pussy hound, as he may not even have anyone playing. His risk is our reward, as he has yet to make the playoffs in our league. Don't worry, Will. I'm sure getting married will help a lot with that. On my next list of things that helps winning with a fantasy football, I think having a baby is right near the top. Can our blazing Asian bounce back from a terrible season? We've seen one great season and one not so great. Will Ginger Asian Tessa be the luck of the Irish or the black cloud of Teddy's season? So what else is on my list? How about starting your own business? While it is a triumphant task, I'm going to be pretty happy when Brian not only forgets his sunscreen, but forgets to pick up players on the wire and set his lineup. At least this may help him with not trying to fuck over poor lonely souls. I mean poor gingers who don't have souls with ridiculous trades. What really should be on my list but isn't is auto drafting. But in this case it is. But the luck of Nick Nassab probably cannot be as good as Nick Brown's. But look at this guy. If this isn't the face of a man who knows what French pussy feels like, I don't know what is. Don't worry, you are definitely the better Nick. Good luck this season. So who else can pull off looking this good? Oh yeah, you buddy. Not only does he look good in the lederhosen, but he can pull off the Gucci as well. You went from worst to first, and now I hope you fall flat on your face. But worst to first will not be the fate of another. Our most recent slut is ready to turn things around, but I'm betting against that. We know Nick's sister likes to suck dick in that dress, keep it classy with a nice suit and tie, and apparently starting a teenage drama. Maybe brotherly love? I don't know. Looks like he fits in pretty well. And the last of the contenders for 2019, yours truly. I never did go worst at first, but I was able to make the playoffs the last 2 years after being the sluttiest of sluts. Coming off the most points in league history, I am ready for some payback after being taken out by the champ. I don't have the confidence to tell you that I'm going to win the championship, but I will put a bet down that says I will not wear a dress or get last place. And I'm willing to put my hair on it. This is what I'm going to look like next year if I get last place. Just add like 30 pounds. And now we'll take a look at our week 1 matchups. The first matchup is the Wookiees Cunt versus number 1 Clown Stars. I think the Wookiees Cunt is much more set up for a week 12 win than a week 1 win. And because of the Nova divisions, this is the exact matchup you'll see. So we'll see how that works out. But for this week, I don't think that the Wookiees Cunt are set up for a win. Congratulations, number 1 Clown Stars. 1-0 is a great feat. In the next matchup, Ziku versus Auto Sheep, I think it's the opposite. I think Ziku is a little bit more set up for week 1 than week 16. And based on Auto Sheep's wonderful draft, I just don't think they can take on Christian McCaffrey and Ziku. In the next matchup, Thielen myself versus the Snouts, I sadly really like how Joey drafted, and luckily, really don't like how Brian drafted. So, you know how this one works out. In the next matchup, Skittles for breakfast versus I've got a golden ticket. I just don't really care for either of these teams, but I think based on Skittles' issues, he's got a lot to prove. So I think week 1 is going to be given to our old champion, Teddy. In the next matchup, Benicia Foreskins versus I Suck Dick in My Dress, I really hate both of these teams. But because I have to choose somebody, I'm going to give the advantage to Benicia Foreskins. And officially, in our week 1 game of the week, we have Dalvin and the Chipmunks, our current champion, versus Reek Habit, who really thinks he should have been champion at some point. But I really think this is going to be a good matchup. It's currently the highest projected matchup in week 1. Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Le'Veon Bell, and Philadelphia defense lead the projections for Wreak Havoc. While Dalvin and the Chipmunks, I think, have a lot to prove, but could have a good week. They have Baker Mayfield starting and projected 24 points. A little high, a little high. Eckler starting in the slot is pretty good. And, if Dalvin Cook comes back healthy and as good as he can be, I think it's going to be a good game. But I like both of these teams. Like I said, I have to choose one. So I'm going to go with Wreak Havoc in week 1. Congratulations to all winners in week 1. Fuck you all. Good luck. Don't expect this every week.